Attention passionate Washington Commanders fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC East and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Washington Commanders' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Washington Commanders fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with YOUR, FRINDS and Washington, Commanders FANS. Let's get to the news now, folks. You really don't want to miss this one because it's one of those moves that could reshape the entire NFC East landscape. The Washington Commanders, who have been quietly building up for what might be a crucial season, just made a blockbuster move to bolster their receiving core. And no, it's not just any move. They traded for none other than Davante Adams. That's right, Adams, one of the most prolific wide receivers in the league, is now a Washington Commander. This isn't just a splash, it's a statement. It signals the team's serious intentions to contend, to push for a playoff run, and maybe even more. But let's back up a little and look at the bigger picture here. The Commanders, as most of you know, have been in a bit of a tricky spot at the wide receiver position. They've got Terry McLaurin, a true star and a fan favorite, but the team's management delayed getting a contract extension done with him, which is never a good sign. Now, with the season approaching, Terry has requested a trade. That's a pretty clear indication that things are heading toward a crossroads for Washington. You see, when you have a player of McLaurin's caliber, and you're trying to build around him, you don't want to let him walk away or go into a season uncertain about his future. It's a delicate balance, and the Commanders are now faced with a tough decision. Do they try to keep McLaurin, or do they pivot and go full throttle with a new plan? The reality is, with McLaurin likely on his way out, Washington needs to find a way to fill that void, and fast. That's where Davante Adams comes into play. Adams, who has been one of the most consistent and explosive receivers in the league over the past few seasons, is exactly the kind of player that can give quarterback Jayden Daniels, who's entering his second season as the starter, a reliable, game-changing target. Adams has this incredible ability to create separation, to win contested catches, and to be a vertical threat whenever the team needs him. Bringing him into the fold would instantly elevate the Commanders' offensive attack, giving them a legitimate number one receiver that defenses have to game plan around. But why would the Rams, who recently acquired Adams, be willing to send him to Washington? Well, that's a story with some interesting layers. The Rams, after making moves this offseason to add top-tier talent, saw their plans hit a snag with Matthew Stafford dealing with back soreness during training camp. If Stafford's injury lingers, it could seriously hamper their chances of competing this season. And if that's the case, the Rams might shift their focus from contending to rebuilding, looking to acquire draft capital to set themselves up for the future. In fact, one of their options could be to trade away Adams, who's eager to play for a contender. Adams has made it clear in the past that he wants to be on a team with a real shot at the Super Bowl, and the Rams, if they find themselves out of the playoff picture early, could be open to parting ways with him. That's where the Commanders come into play. With their current roster, especially if they can surround Jayden Daniels with more talent, they'd be a prime landing spot for Adams. Imagine the dynamic of Adams lining up alongside a young quarterback like Daniels, developing chemistry, and helping him grow into a top-tier playmaker. It's exactly the kind of move that could accelerate Washington's rebuild and push them into serious playoff contention. Now, let's talk a little about how Adams fits into the Commanders' offense. The team has been focusing on developing Daniels, and adding a receiver like Adams would give them a true alpha. His route running is exceptional, especially at the top of the curl and comeback routes, and he's got the size and hands to make those tough catches in traffic. His transition into the over-the-ball route, or OTB, makes him a versatile threat that defenses will have to respect on every play. Plus, with the offensive line and the supporting cast, the Commanders could unlock a new level of offensive efficiency. That's a huge deal, especially considering the team's recent struggles on offense, which have often been linked to a lack of consistent, reliable targets. And let's not forget, this move also has major implications for the NFC East. The Giants and Eagles are always formidable, and the Cowboys are never to be underestimated. But with Adams in the fold, Washington would be sending a message that they're all in, willing to make bold moves to compete at the highest level. It's a strategic shift that could shake up the division and make the NFC East even more exciting to watch this season. For the fans, this is a moment of hope, a sign that the team is serious about winning, about making a run, and about finally establishing themselves as a dominant force once again. Of course, there are questions. How quickly can Adams gel with Daniels? Will the Rams actually agree to trade him, and at what cost? What about the salary cap implications? But those are details for the front office to worry about. For us, the fans, what matters is the message this move sends. Washington is serious, and they're willing to make the tough decisions to get better. They're building a roster that can compete, and with Adams, they're adding a piece that could be the difference maker in close games. Now, thinking about the season ahead, if this trade goes through, it could be a game changer. The Commanders would have a potent offense with a receiver who has consistently put up over 1-0 yards in the past, who can stretch the field and make those difficult catches that change games. It also opens up so many new possibilities for the offense, creating mismatches and forcing defenses to adjust their game plan every week. For Jaden Daniels, having a receiver like Adams is an incredible boost, giving him a trusted target who can turn any play into a big gain. For the fans, it's exciting to imagine the highlight reel catches, the big third-down conversions, and the potential playoff push that could follow. And let me tell you, this isn't just speculation. The NFL is always about making bold moves, and this potential trade is exactly that. It's about the Commanders making a statement, showing that they're ready to compete, and that they're not afraid to make big moves to get there. Adams's experience, his route-running ability, and his knack for making clutch plays could be exactly what the team needs to take that next step. Plus, it's a move that would energize the fanbase, giving everyone renewed hope and excitement for the season. So, as we wait for official confirmation, we can only speculate on how this will unfold. But one thing is clear, the Washington Commanders are making waves, and they're doing it with purpose. They're not just trying to patch things up, they're aiming to build a contender, a team that can go deep into the playoffs and perhaps even bring another Super Bowl to the nation's capital. This move, if it happens, will be remembered as one of those defining moments in the franchise's recent history. And now, Washington Commanders fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this? Do you think Adams is the missing piece? Are you excited about the potential of this trade? Or do you believe there are other priorities the team should focus on? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the team. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, more inside info, and all the latest news about the Washington Commanders. Stay tuned, keep the passion alive, and let's see how this story unfolds together. Because if there's one thing we know for sure, the NFL season is always full of surprises, and the Commanders are right in the middle of it.